Blue Sky Studios released its second feature-length animation film a whole 3 years after Ice Age. In that time, computer animation was evolving really fast, and every studio was getting into the action. Blue Sky came back with a completely original idea, set in a robotic world with robotic characters, simply titled Robots. I may not be the biggest fan of Ice Age, and while the animation may not hold up today, it made enough of an impression on me for what was possible at the time that I was curious to see what the creators had next. It's been 16 years since Robots was released. Is it still worthwhile in 2021? Robots is about Rodney Copperbottom, an everyday robot who wants to become an inventor at Big Weld Industries, located in Robot City. Yes, some very original names here. Despite having this dream since childhood, Big Weld Industries is unfortunately taken over by Ratchet, who only cares about making money and doesn't take in new inventions, and plans to stop producing individual robot parts in favor of new upgrades that will turn every citizen into a shiny, advanced machine, if they can afford it. Questioning what has happened to Big Weld himself, and creativity in general, Rodney and a group of lower-class robots decide to uncover the mystery and restore Big Weld Industries to its former glory. Will the heroes succeed? Nope, they fail, and everyone becomes doomed Terminator-like androids with no heart or emotion. It's an animated movie directed at families from 2005. What do you suppose happens? This is one that I never saw, except for a few brief snippets here and there. I remember the breakdancing robot, and I remember the Singing in the Rain spoof. Otherwise, I have no memory of its existence. But my fiancé had been hyping it up for quite a while, so imagine her excitement when this ended up being a Patreon request. Finally watching it, I'm a bit shocked by how much I enjoyed it. It's a sound story, even if it's derivative. It has stellar animation that looks good, even today, and the humor is on point. There's numerous times where a visual gag or pun had me laughing out loud. For a world of robots, I didn't think they'd be able to come up with this many jokes. I've seen them try this thing before, where the world is centered around one specific type of thing, whether it be emojis or food products or toys, and while it's sometimes dead on arrival, most of the time these types of films focus on the story, with the world being left alone in the background. It can make for a suitable setting, but in most cases, the type of world you set the movie in usually doesn't take advantage of all the potential comedy, if any potential comedy even exists. In Robots, they keep throwing so many different things at you, I can't help but find it hysterical. There's wordplay, invented homophones, sight gags, and even a funny fart joke. Seriously, the setup for this scene is stupid, but once you meet Miss Fanny, you already know what's coming. Not only is it extremely over the top, but it causes one of the living light posts outside to pass out, because you know everything is a living robot in this world, and in one of the greatest dissolves I've ever seen in film, the next morning, the light post is just a chalk line. Miss Fanny actually kills someone with her exaggerated farting. Like, look, if you know me, you know, I hate fart jokes, but I can't help it. This one actually works. Where Scrat was the only thing in Ice Age to pay tribute to the classic animated shorts of Chuck Jones and Tex Avery, Robots has a lot more to offer in terms of slapstick and cleverness. This has some great sequences, like the strange public transportation system that plays like a giant Rube Goldberg machine. There's the moment where Rodney tries to enter the front gate of Big Weld Industries, only to be tricked several times by the gatekeeper, who's played by the always lovely Paul Giamatti. The finale, while extremely predictable, also has a few good visuals that make the experience more fulfilling. I have to imagine that the writers and creators got together, and just like Shrek 2 or The Simpsons movie or every Phil Lord and Chris Miller movie, they thought about every single funny thing they could possibly do in this universe and with the runtime. Maybe it doesn't tickle everyone's funny bone, but I was pleasantly surprised and thought it was completely new and better territory when compared to Blue Sky's debut, Ice Age. It's weird to say that the most underwhelming comedy bits actually come from the voice actors themselves, and they have some acts that I appreciate, even if it's a very 2005 cast. Amanda Bynes, Drew Carey, and Mel Brooks. I have enjoyed their presence in other select things, but here they don't have a lot of material. Even if the celebrity voices match the characters a lot better than Ice Age, they still don't get too many good lines. The late Robin Williams plays Fender, a sizable role, but even his dialogue falls flat, even though it's obvious he wasn't given a lot of room to improvise. With how many jokes they already had planned, it's not the type of movie that works for improvisational actors. The other voice actors are nice to hear, like Greg Kinnear as Ratchet, a spoiled brat who is exactly the kind of misguided power grabber you want to watch fail. And Ewan McGregor always has a soothing voice, so he fits as the everyman in Rodney. Moving on to the animation itself, just like Toy Story, the creators picked an environment and texture that would age the best on the computer. The field had already advanced a lot, but with the choice to have shiny and metallic looking designs, the animators were able to achieve a look that's still appealing today. There's a few things you can look back on from this specific era that are still effective, but they have an odd blemish here or there. With Robots, I wouldn't be able to guess that this came out 16 years ago. I watched this on Blu-ray, and I was stunned by the immense detail with the backgrounds and characters themselves, and for being Blue Sky's second feature film, and for their previous movie to be the lukewarm quality of Ice Age, this may hold up better than any other early 2000s computer animated film. Like I said, it's because they chose these textures that don't require the same kind of tones or shading necessary on human or animal characters, but they didn't slack off on the little stuff either. On top of it all, the story is good. It reminds me of A Bug's Life and a lot of other animated movies that came out afterwards, but it still has a likable character that goes on an inspiring journey, even if that inspiration starts to lose focus by the end. It's about big business taking advantage of the citizens below them and leaving the lower class behind, and literally sweeping them off the street to be profited off of. It's all because Bigweld was forced out, and the company he built lost their ideals, to instead focus on money. I've heard people say that this is a big critique of capitalism, and while I don't claim to be an expert on the subject, I certainly see how this was a representation of the toxic culture that capitalism can breed, if it goes unchecked. Bigweld is a romanticized Walt Disney type who wishes for innovation and believes everyone with an idea should be listened to, while Ratchet, by the secret order of his mother, only wants to release shiny upgrades while ignoring the necessity for spare parts and being too expensive for the lower class. Then the lower class surrounds Rodney, a smart mechanic, as the only one who can fix their problems, and they blatantly fight amongst each other while also ignoring the true threat that lurks above. Then again, I'm not sure if the writers were digging this deep into it. It's a lot like the Lego Movie, where the simple premise is about a big business CEO who's naive to the citizens' struggles, but it leaves a lot for the audience to read into themselves. Then again, Ratchet's mother is the one who's actually kidnapping all the rundown robots and using their corpses for new materials, so he's not naive. In fact, the plan of no longer releasing updated parts, leaving you to either purchase something that's brand new, sleek, simple, and overpriced, or be left behind, is very reminiscent of Steve Jobs. Then again, I'm probably overthinking all of this. Even if I can praise all the good stuff, it still has a lot of issues that a lot of kids' movies have. It also has one of the most forced relationships I've seen in the kids' movie. I think Rodney and Cappy had like 2 lines before one of the other characters declared them lovers. I guess if that's the biggest flaw I can think of though, then you're not doing too bad. Robots is super funny and deserves a rewatch just so I can catch any jokes that I missed. It's got a familiar story, and the voice actors don't do much, but in terms of its animation and humor, this really deserves a new appraisal. It's the perfect time for a nostalgic comeback for this film, and the fact that it hasn't happened yet, or that I at least don't hear too many people talk about it, I just have to take the assumption that, like everybody else who was my age at the time, they must have not seen it in theaters or seen it at home. I mean, the movie didn't even get that bad of reviews at the time, so it's kind of weird that this one's just gotten mostly forgotten. I think it's time that you 20-somethings and, even children today give it a rewatch because, honestly, I think it still holds up. I think it works even today. Miss Fanny, though. special thanks to Anthony for this Patreon request. Thanks for watching the video, and special shout out to Lauren, Anthony, Anna, Kirsten, Spencer, Lucas, Ryan, and Robert for supporting me on Patreon. By joining my Patreon, you can get exclusive blogs and videos, and for just $7, you can get your own monthly movie review. I hope you stick around, cinephile, and have a happy, productive day.